welcome back to my channel and to my very first craft with me using the Sophie Spring collection. So I do have some news about that collection, which is really good news for us. Rose accidentally gave me the whole listing of the Mindful Dreams. So in that Mindful Dreams, there's actually 5 listings in there. And that's why we had so many different types of, like the folk art birds and you know, the celestial and all that, the garden. So anyways, what that ended up, she did honor that. And we will, I know this might not affect you. You might hear it, but I don't think my volume was muted, so I'm just going to, just in case. So anyways, getting back to the things matters at hand. So our Sophie Spring collection is not necessarily 8 listings, it's actually 13. And it's not 167 pages, it's 216 pages. So I'm going to tell you again to make sure that you print off what you want when you need it, and as you go you can print. It doesn't have to be all printed at the same time. You saw my bundle and I didn't even print the whole thing. So anyways, that collection is $10.99, and with my discount it'll be 10% off of that, so it's $9.99, which is an incredible deal. Thank you very much, Rose. We love this collection and I can't wait to get busy with it. So on to what we have planned for today. I forgot to set my timer. Yeah, we'll leave it for today. It's not abnormal for me to forget my timer, is it? I gotta put that sticky note. Right in my face. Okay, so what I chose from my little container there was to dye the paper. So what I did ahead of time is I just had some tea mix in the fridge, and I just quickly soaked it up, put it in there. So the different effects that gave, you can see with my ink that had the colored ink on it, you can see that it smeared and ran, and it came through on the other side. I'm not angry with that. I don't mind that. But for me, I'm going to use these as a page in my journal. So that's what those ones did. So if you're not angry with that, if you don't mind that, go ahead and dye your full paper. Now I know Deb is going to be working with, hi Deb, I know you're watching me. She's going to be working with avocado dye. And I personally have never done that because I don't have avocados as a rule, but I can't wait for her to show off her papers. So what I did here was I took and I soaked my paper just very briefly. I just basically stuck it in there just to give it that little bit of different color, and then I crumpled it and left it in a ball. And then I put them in the oven at, I think I did 300, but you have to watch them very carefully. And then as they were starting to dry, I would take them out and lay them out. And some of them got ripped, and I'm okay. I'm good with that. I'm okay with that. So I'm going to put these 2 aside. But that is what I did with those. So once I had the balls flattened out, then I baked them. And you'll see, let's do these ones, because I think these are the ones. These are the ones I did first. And you can see they did not turn out very well. I'm not mad at that either, though. I'm not angry with that, because we're going to add some fun stuff to this and fix this. But you can see it was pretty crinkled, and as I tried to unfold or unravel it, whatever you want to call it, it was tearing and whatnot. So I got 2 that are really rough. One is really, really rough, and then this one. So then what I did was as they were drying, I had them unraveled, and I put them back in the oven, and I brought them out while they were still damp. They weren't dry, but they were damp. And I placed them on my counter, and I did this. And that gave it a really nice effect. I still have the wrinkle crinkle on the back side, and it's nice and flat, and it didn't tear. So that's the way I would do it now going forward, is to just let them partially dry and then bring them out and let them dry really flat by pushing them down. Now this is the one I did the same way, but I didn't crinkle. I didn't crinkle it. So I just got the whatever the oven gave me, that's what I got. And I like that too. I like them both styles. This one, it looks like I did it half and half or something. I don't know. But I do like this effect, and that's going to help us in our aging. So, just some more. So what I'm going to do first and foremost is I am going to show you what I'm going to work with today. So I put some of my tea water in my spray bottle. Oh, that's what we're going to do. I have my handy dandy sander, and I have my foam pieces and my little brush, and I've got my different whatever this one is. I think this one is oh yeah, this is the espresso, but I can't tell if it's not the oxide one. So I want to use an oxide. This here, I want to use an oxide. Now this one is green. I don't necessarily, well, moss green is cool. Oh, there, we got this one. It's a walnut stain. So that's what I want to do, because we're going to do some fun things with that. And then I have some stencils. And we're going to experiment. Now these ones are plastic, so I wouldn't want to. I know some people, they will put their stencils in there and then put them in the oven in between the papers and that. I wouldn't want to do that. Not with these. I don't think they would. They're not the right plastic to do that with, I don't think. So, first of all, what I'm going to do is I am going to just take and I'm tearing my paper. So if you haven't got your papers quite ready, don't throw these out. These are marvelous. Marvelous, I tell you. Marvelous. So you can pause me, fast forward me, shut me off, whatever you want to do. Your choice. But this is what we're going to do. And I like that torn edge. I'm okay with that. And that's what I get when I have a smaller strip to tear off. It doesn't like to come off when I haven't got enough. But I'm good with that. And we're just going to do this. Yeah, we got enough tear. And you know what, we're going to do our thing with that. So I'm going to take and do the rest of these. I'm going to speed them up so you don't have to go through too much pain, and I'm going to shush up so you don't hear me go. So I'll see you in a minute. we have all these beautiful, beautiful old invoices that are beautiful, but we're going to even make them more beautiful. Okay, now you obviously don't have to do the whole works of them, but what I like to do, if I'm going to do something, I don't have to use these all in one project, but I can have them ready to go into a project. So this one, we're going to put aside right for now because this is the one that's got a lot of holes in it. So we're just going to leave that one because I don't mind it like that. We'll ink it up once I show you how to fix that and make that beautiful in its own. So let's grab this one. This is a pretty good one. There's some tears there, but that's what makes it hold. So let's just take a little bit of the sanding paper and just kind of give those rough edges. Just kind of, and you know what, if you got that, just tear it off because not all invoices are going to look all pretty and whatnot. You can give them a little bit more of a tear if you like. And then I'm just going to take this and lightly rub this over. Just lightly. Because that gives us some nice texture in there too, doesn't it? And when we do, just a little bit. I don't want it a lot. Just a little bit. That looks like it's been around the bend a few times. Now, the one thing I was going to do is get a piece of paper or something to just kind of, this is one simple way by doing that, you activate the oxide. And then if you just let that, it gives it, it gives it more of a spread out look. It doesn't make it look like it was just, you know, patterned on there. And because we're using the tea, it'll be a little darker. And I'm just going to leave that there like so. And we're going to push this aside to let that dry. So that's one done. I'm just going to put these on top of each other. I'm not going to get too fancy with them. So this here, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to give it a little, because I like that. So, over here. I don't know if you're picking up on that, but it just gives it a different edging, a different texture, a different feel, and it just kind of gives it like a ready to take on a little more of our stuff here. Now this one here, I'm going to try with just dabbing. See, and then it just, this can make it look like it's been sitting somewhere. I really like that. Oh, let's try this. I didn't think this moss green would, or no, forest moss would look right, but I kind of like it. Maybe even a little more so than this one, the walnut stain. Look at what I did. I organized my inks, and I have them sitting right above me here, so they're always in my eye and nicely organized, nicely labeled. So there we go. And then on this side, let's do a little more. We're just dabbing, just to give it that. Let's add in. We have this one here. Let's add in a little bit of this, and just kind of, just because it's one color, we don't have to use just one color. I know I know I'm dabbing pretty hard here, so I hope that I'm not sending you guys shaking all the time. And we're going to leave this. You see, I got some drips. And let's just kind of let it dribble down a little bit. We're just going to put that over there. Let's see. Now this one's got nice and torn edges, but not so much here. So let's take our scissors and like this one here. Oh, well, you know what? We're going to leave that there because we're going to fix that like we're going to do the other ones. Now you can I know some people have the little tool to do this that gives it that roughed edge. I don't have that tool, so I just use my scissors, and it gives, I don't mind what it does. I don't mind that at all. And then I'm going to take I don't want this one to spread, so I'm going to use my, I think this is the espresso one, isn't it? Or, yeah, ground espresso. So I'm just going to take and get rid of some of these white edges here. And if you kind of do it so that you bring it in, and that's where you would need, there, like that. Like that. If you bring it in, it kind of makes it look a little more, instead of just doing your edges, it kind of gives you a little more look like it's not, like it belongs there. Instead of it just being, like when you do this, it just does the edge. And that's okay too. That's okay too. But that's two different effects. One when you just do the edge, one where you kind of blend it in, bring it in. And we're going to do it on this back side too. Now this isn't the distress, the oxide one, so water is not going to be activated and make it do fun things. But we're not even going to go too crazy with it, just to give it, it looks like it's been in the ringer a little bit, and we're just going to let that, like so. And we're not going to touch that front. We're going to leave that in and see what it does once they're all dry. Okay, so now this one here, let's rough it up with the sandpaper again. That really gives it, I don't know if you can see, but it just really gives the like it's been around. And with having the little wrinkles in there from dyeing it, from doing the coffee or tea dye before, it raises it up, so that just kind of sands off all the color that's in there and gives you that really nice old look. I like that one. Okay, so now let's do some more of this moss in here. We're just going to bring it just ever so lightly. Just around, so it just looks like it's been, I don't know. What does it look like? And before we do anything, we're going to, this looks a little too nicey-nicey. Yeah, okay, I like that. Okay, so now let's take one of our lovely stencils here, and just because we're aging these doesn't mean they can't look pretty. And I'm going to take this green And I'm going to go through here. Let's see what this does. This is a pretty stencil. Some of these I haven't even used yet. I don't use my stencils enough. But my 2025 promise to myself is to use more of my stash and my items. Have more fun playing with. I don't do enough mixed media and whatnots, so I need to have more fun with that. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, and then we're just going to take and blend a little bits here and there, just to give it a little bit of, I think we might even take and glue that piece of paper down there. Maybe, we'll see. Okay, so now I'm going to take, and let's see if this does anything. It might just take our whole thing away. I don't know. Well, let's just put this right back here. Now this is the side that I did the ink on. So let's just do this. Get it a little damp. Right. And then let's just place it on there. And we're going to let that dry. Just like that. Just like that. Okay. Well, let me clean up my mess here. I got a good mess going. I guess as a make sure you've got a good surface to do this on. Easy wipe up. Okay, now let's just, for this one, let's just try. Let's see, which one shall we use? Let's try just this and spray it. Okay, and then we're going to do that with this one. Now we're going to place it down like so and see what happens. See what happens. Well, you know, why don't we layer these up? Why not, right? Spray this down. And let's put this one on there. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to make you watch my drying process. I'm just going to take the heat gun to them. And dry them off camera so we can finish what we need to do with them. So this process would take a long time if you were drying each one on camera. So we don't need to, I think you guys know how to dry things, eh? So I'm going to try, let's do this one. Let's do this. This one looks like it's got into something, eh? Oh. And then we're going to, let's just wet this down. And then we're going to wet this down. Oh, look at that. I see what it's doing. Perfect. Okay, let's do this. I'm getting my stencils very close to the top here. And then there we go. Sit still. Sit straight. Okay, let's try. What if we do, let's try this moss green. No, I keep wanting to call it moss green. It is kind of a moss. It's a forest green though. It's fun to play. I hope you're playing along with me. Piece of the stencil didn't cut through all the way. Okay, so now we got that done. Let's do this, and we're going to just take and place that right on top there. I don't know how these are going to turn out. They might be cool, they might not be, I don't know. We'll find out. Okay, so what are we going to do with this one? How many more stencils do we got? Oh, we got a few more stencils. Let's put this one. We're going to sand this one down. Get that over here for now. Let's sand this. Are you seeing me? Kind of, sort of. Let's get this out of the way. Let's get this out of the way. And this. Okay. Now, let's put this over here, because then you can see me better what I'm doing. There we go. Okay. So, what was I going to do with this one? I'm going to sand this one down. Okay, and then I think this is just my old one. It doesn't have much on there. Yeah, it doesn't have much on there. So let's just forget that one and let's do this one. We're going to go back to our oxide walnut stain here. And let's just do a little follow through. Just littles. Just some little. Very lightly. Just gives it a little bit. A little darker on the edge. Bring that up and through. Keep the movement going, then it doesn't look like it was just plopped on there. And I think we're going to take and give this a little more. I like that look. Doesn't have to be a lot. Hold your paper, and it keeps it in place. And it just gives it, depending on how much you want, right? If you want a lot, then put a lot on. If you don't want a lot, then don't do a lot. But that just gives it some fun. Makes it look like it's, and if you wanted to, you could tear a corner out of it. So it looks like it's torn. So it looks like it's torn. Yeah, that's what it looks like. It looks like it's torn. Did you know that? Okay, so let's just do something like this. I don't know what's going to come through on here, so let's just, we have a good little design going on here. Let's see. Add some more Distress Oxide on it and see what happens. Okay, well, let's get a little more edging here. Oop, 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 oop. Well, something like that. Okay, and then we can give it a little more like that. And then let's just take and let's put this like this. We won't put a stencil in there. Let's do the stencil on the front, shall we? Okay. I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if it needs to be soaked longer or if my tea is going to do it, but we're just going to give it a go. Sometimes you just want a little lightness in there. You just want, it doesn't have to be a lot. Okay, well, let's try it on the back side here. And we're going to try this forest one again. And I think, well, let's do this. Let's do this one. Let's go like that. Like so. We'll make sure that we get lots on the stencil itself so that our next piece of paper will get that design on there. Okay, so let's do this one. And I am going to spray the paper down. Let's spray the paper down, not the stencil this time. Okay, try that. Of course, when we do these and reveal them, I'm not going to remember which one is which. Maybe you will. Okay, or you won't. Alrighty, let's do this again. And so once we get through these stencils, then we won't do any more, because I think you guys get the gist of it. Of course, if you weren't aging, if you were just prettying up papers, you could do many, many different colors. That would be nice too. But I'm trying to give them an older look. Okay, so let us do this one. We can, once they're dry, we can just rough them up a little bit more. And we're just going to go like so. And, well, let's try another one. Just doing the tea stain. Okay, so for those ones, we're going to leave it at that. And I'm going to take my time in a bit and I'm going to dry them, and then we'll come back to those ones. See if I can move these. I have one underneath there. Don't I? Yes, I do. Okay. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now we're going to put one under here just because it helps dry up the other one and helps me move it. Okay, so we have a few here undone, and I'm just going to do those ones off camera. And let's see. Okay, so I'm going to go and I'm going to dry those and I'm going to get those done, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to continue to distress them, and we're going to fix those ones that are torn, and I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, thank you very much. We'll see you shortly. Okay, I'm back, and before I show the results of the other ones, I thought we would do some repairs. So these are the ones that were torn, that I beat up as I was unraveling them. So I got 3 here. This one, yeah, this one we're going to fix. But what I do is I have this sheet from, I think these are the cutting boards from Dollar Tree. And, you know, you get 2, I think, in a package. They're probably $1.75 now here in Canada, probably $1.50 in the States. But anyways, these come in really handy. I use them a lot, as you can see. So all I do is I take regular Scotch tape. Well, this is Dollar Tree tape. And then I take my alcohol ink, which I had here. I pulled it out. Oh, there it is. Take my alcohol ink, and this one is latte, so it kind of gives the lighter color. I have a few different colors, as you can see. This one I use, but not very often. But I still have little bits and pieces here. So that's all I'm going to do. And this dries. As we know, alcohol ink dries very quickly. So you pretty much can put it on there and then put a second coat on if you need a little darker, and then use it right away. So that's all we're going to do. And I see this little piece here. So I'm going to take this piece. This has been on here for a while because I haven't used my tape for a while. But it just gives that aged look, and I'm just going to take and put it right like that. So then that gives it that extra layer of, oh, look at me, I'm old. And for just a little added, I have another little piece here. So we'll put it on the other side too. And then I can see I need to make some more, because I'm just about out. Oh, that one doesn't want to stick on there. Why don't you want to stick on there? So I'm just going to take a little bit of my Dollar Tree glue. And we'll just take and, so just like you have to do to some washi tape. Sometimes you just have to give it a little extra help. There. There. Let that go ahead and dry. What do we got here now? We have this really big one. Let's do this really big one, because I got this nice big piece here. I tried to flatten it out a little bit, but I wasn't that successful. So we're just going to take, how about a piece like so? Well, let's give it a little bit of glue since we're here, right? Like I said, this tape has probably been sitting there for quite a while. We're just going to do it like so. But I do like the look that it gives it. And then we'll give it another piece on the back side, because that's just what we do. This one will just do that really bad part there. Now I can see where this is the alcohol ink that I went over, because you don't have to get too fussy with it. Comes off of that sheet pretty good. And we're just going to do that. There. So are we going to worry about this top piece? Well, we could rip it out. We could just rip it off. Let's just rip it off. Let's just rip off the Band-Aid. There. There. Doesn't have to be. These are old and ugly and torn and tattered. So there. Okay, and then, well, we're here. Might as well do this last one. I'm just going to rip that piece off of there. And we just need a little piece for this. And then I probably, once I get my tape all used, I will wipe this down. This one you can see I used a little darker alcohol ink. This one's pretty sticky. It'll stick to my finger pretty good. I'm just gonna run it like that. So your different alcohol inks will of course give it a different look. I prefer the little lighter one, the latte. That's one I like. But I will continue to use it till it's all used up. And this little thing, I just keep them on here, and then I hide it under one of my mats here, and it's there when I need it. Oops. Okay, there you go. That's that over there. Oh, that one didn't work out very well. You can see I have the different inks in there. I must have tried mixing the two inks on this particular one. Yeah, I did the brown and then I did this one in there too. But that's okay. So there we go. So those are those ones, and that's how I do my repairs of aged paper. I'm just going to put that over here. So now with our aged envelopes. Yes, you can do this with envelopes, but we're doing invoices today. So as you can see, this one actually turned out nice. I like the way that gave just a little extra. And then on this side, you can see the design, but it really just came out yellow. So if we take and just make that so it's not so prominent, dull it down by sanding it. Don't sand it so much you create a hole. Right, and then we can take our ink here, doesn't matter which one, and just do our edges. I don't prefer doing my edges with this thing because you just don't have that same kind of control. But if I had a piece of paper under there and I was doing this, that would probably be better, eh? Yeah, well, why not? It gives a little extra added to the next page. And you're not wasting no ink. Look at that. Right. And just rub it out. You got a really nice printed piece of paper there, and it looks like it's been old and tattered and torn. And this one here, you can see, I don't know if you can see it, it did come through there. I like the way that it looks. But that's that forest moss, and so when you do the tea or the water to it, you get that yellowish look. And well, that's okay, whatever. That's okay. And just take and dull it down a little bit with the brown. This one's a walnut. Ah. Okay, and this one, I'm just going to leave as is till I know what I'm going to do with it. And that's the design in there too, but it just kind of gave it a little bit of a different look. This one here, I really like how that turned out. I really like that one. And you could take and give a little extra, oops, a little extra sanding here. Just to give that a little extra. I like that. Looks good. This one, I think I just took some tea, the spray, and just let it do its thing, so it gave me a little bit more of that. It looks like this has gotten wet and been dried out because it was an important receipt. This one, oh, that's pretty. That turned out nice. I noticed that, well, you can see some of the design in here, but I noticed that mostly the designs came through on the plain paper, not the printed side. And that could be because, oh, look at that. Look at that. That could be because I didn't let them sit long enough. Another thing that I don't know why this gives it that little, oh, my sandy block coming apart. Another thing that gives it a little extra, why, I don't know. But sometimes if you just take and very lightly put some age dots in there. I don't know. It looks like something splattered on there. I don't know. Just kind of gives it that extra, I don't know. It gives it that extra, I don't know. And so, yeah, just take and play with it. I really like that. That's one thing with the, on the printed side, it takes that sanding and gives you more of that aged and roughed look and been around for a while. Which is probably something that we could do with this too, right? Let's see. My sanding paper, I think my paper needs to be changed. But yeah, that gives it a nicer look. And I think maybe out of those ones you can, like I said, you can go into a journal as a page. It can go as make a tag out of it. You can make an envelope out of it. These ones, because I shrunk them down, made them a little smaller, I wouldn't do much but use them as I like that. See? That's just sanding. You could make a tag out of them. You could make a smaller envelope out of them. But your printing would be upside down. You'd have to decide which one you want right side up. So you could do like that. Make a nice little envelope out of them. You could not shrink them down like I did. Because I did two sheets per page. And let's do a little inking here. I did 2 sheets per page, so that made them, half size. But these will be nice. Stick them in, make an envelope and stick them inside as it's a little writing spot, little place to do some extra hidden journaling. Or it's a kind of a cute way to write somebody a note too. Something different, right? So anyways, that's what I did. And that's, I think you got the gist of it by now. So I'm going to not do the rest of these on camera. But those are the different things, ways to age them and make them look like they've been around for a while. And so I have one last thing to talk to you about before I go. Well, 2 things. One, what we're going to do next week, and then this guy here. So Rose was looking through and she contacted me and said, Sophie, says, I think this would go really nicely with your collection. And so I was looking through it and I went, it would just be so beautiful with our collection because we're going to be doing the spring, and of course Easter is in that time. So look at these beautiful papers that Rose has looked at for ephemera for us, or fuzzy cuts. Look at, aren't these little ladies? Aren't they adorable? Like, oh, that would be what a pretty card that would be. And then, of course, in this particular package, this also comes in the ping, or the PNG files, like I told you, that you can bring in and put onto something and size them to whatever size you want. So this little collection, how many pages? I forget how many pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, plus a whole bunch of each individual item is its own little PNG. And Rose has given me a code, a discount code, which means that if you use that discount code, you get this for 10 cents. So that's a lot of Easter stuff that you can do, and we are going to do some Easter stuff as it gets a little closer, or as I draw it out of there. And so anyways, your code is all capitals, Spring Collection. You go to her Ko-fi page, and I'll leave the link in the description. You go to her Ko-fi page and find that it's called Pink Spring, I believe. Yeah, Spring Pink. And if you look under Easter, you'll find it. And so when you put it in your cart and you go to checkout, it will ask you for a discount code, and you put in that Spring Collection and you'll get it for 10 cents. So that is one thing one of the last things I wanted to cover. And then this, we need to pick out what we're going to do next week. So let's figure out what we're going to do. I want those ones. Okay, let's do this one. Next week, we are going to do some tags. Okay, I like that. Let's do some tags. So, there we go. Thank you guys for joining me on my very first Craft With Me Sophie's Spring Collection video. We'll see you next week on this one. And if you're in Rose's group, I know there's a challenge going on. So, you might want to go check that out and do that challenge. I forget what it is because I just briefly saw it as I was getting ready to do this. So go check that out, and we'll see you next week for the next Craft With Me, where we're going to do tags. All right, take care. Bye-bye.